Good morning, coffee moaners. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Saturday moaners. Welcome to the 10th of January, 10 days in. Oh my God, and hasn't Donald Trump been busy? Hasn't he been busy? What a busy bee, keeping us all on our toes, keeping us all attentive. Morning, everyone. Obviously, welcome. If you're listening on podcast, if you hear me referring to the names of people, it's everyone in our wonderful community, in the live chat. It's been a very, very full-on news week, hasn't it? It really has. And as we tip into the weekend, as we trip into the weekend, as we smash our faces into the weekend, we have the rather remarkable prospect of Iran falling, Donald Trump invading, him taking Greenland, and all other manner of shit. Morning, everyone. How is everyone? Morning, Clodagh. Morning, Jenny. Morning, Northern Soul. So what are we talking about? Is Iran on the brink? Well, the Western media wants us to think that. There are riots happening. I really want to unpack not the veracity of the reports, but the editorial cleanliness of the Western media's coverage, because I just think it's intriguing. I just posted a story, or we just posted a story on our Instagram of images and footage, which we're going to show you some of, from Iran, of riots, of protests. Then I looked at it and I thought, fucking hell, I'm seeing the same images coming from America. So isn't it odd? Isn't it odd how in one situation, such footage is literally, the flames are being fanned in order to kind of suggest that Iran is on the brink and is about to topple, or as Alan Elliott says, Iran is always on the brink. Happy birthday, Stephanie. Happy birthday. So it's just interesting. It's just that sort of skewed emphasis. Iran is burning, Ayatollah going into hiding. But if you were to flip the narrative and look at all the footage coming out of various cities of America with ICE agents smashing the fuck out of American citizens, you could argue exactly the same is happening in America, but they don't use quite the same language, do they? We know why, but we can still marvel at it, be outraged by it, call it out, explain it. We were talking to someone yesterday where we were sort of saying we've got to a point almost in analyzing the news, responding to the news, being frustrated by the developments that are going on by these totally out of touch, marauding, psychopathic leaders. You can't do anything about it. We can't do anything to change it. But what you can do is like place it like an old-fashioned radio on a table and start to take it apart bit by bit so you can understand how they've made it happen. Gabrielle, I feel like I'm watching a movie. So we're going to talk about that. Is Iran on the brink? We're also going to look at, it's kind of gone everywhere. We popped it on the channel last night as a short. We also placed it on our Instagram accounts, the longer format of the ICE shooting of Renee Good in Minnesota. We have the actual ICE officers' footage, which is a really curiously, we uploaded a much shorter clip, but we're going to show you the sort of the prelude to the moment we uploaded. It's a curious clip because obviously you're not the regime. That's what we got. The Trump regime isn't going to have allowed clips or footage from an ICE agent who shot a citizen. They're not going to let that footage come out unless they're feeling pretty damn certain that it's somehow going to prove that she definitely, definitively did drive at him, or that it somehow sanctions his actions. What staggered and amazed me, and we're going to show it and we can all look at it, is that for me, it proved in yet even more close-up detail that she was committing a three-point turn. She was turning away from the officer in question. And she, if you look at it closely, this is the really weird bit. I popped it in the very end comment of my upload of the footage on Instagram last night. There's a moment where she actually pumps the brakes very, very briefly. But in that process of when you're trying to get out of somewhere, you don't want to hit someone, which is really strange. It's really strange. Anyway, so we're gonna look at that footage. Within it, you also hear Renee Good's last words, and you also hear his last words. And we're going to go back to Donald Trump, who was entertaining oil executives at the White House yesterday. And we have a whole range of clips and sound bites from him. on Greenland, on Iran, and on his ballroom, and all other manner of stuff that seems to enter the cavities of a dementia-ridden, cankled sack of orange flatulence. So there you go. Funny how the new footage has just come. Well, no, I don't think it is funny. Hope, love, peace. I don't know how you mean. Is it funny? I don't think it's funny at all. I think insofar as I think it's been released because they think it confirms that the ICE agent was correct. They wouldn't, you know, a federal agent's footage from his phone wouldn't have been released unless they thought it somehow proved the legitimacy of him shooting her 3 times. But before we get into all of that, we'll now, anyone who's been wondering where Boris Johnson is, has anyone at all been having sleepless nights over where Boris Johnson is? Because I can give you a clue as to what he's been working on or what he's been writing this week. No, well, he wrote this piece in the Daily Mail, and the reason I've pulled it up is I'm really pleased to see that no one has been having sleepless nights about where Boris Johnson, the piano man, in hell, Charlie and Evans. No, come on, be honest. Has anyone wondered where he is at all? Once? I haven't. Anyway, I was reminded of him this morning when this landed in the Daily Mail. Boris Johnson, listen to this. This is his headline. Intergalactic lefty bedwetters like Rory Stewart are so deranged by hatred of Trump they're blind to the fact from Venezuela to Iran he's on the side of the good guys and making the world a safer place. This guy is well educated, so he's having a swipe at Rory Stewart. Incidentally, lefty bedwetters. I don't know why. I do find that funny, but he's just I mean, these giant fucking toddlers. He's a posh, rich, indulged sort of, not Dulwich, but you know what I mean. Intergalactic lefty bedwetters like Rory Stewart. And I have to be brutally honest, I can't fucking stand it. I keep being really polite about Rory Stewart because Nadia loves the rest of his politics and loves him. I can't stand it. I mean, I've kind of tried to dial it back. I didn't like how he attacked Zach Polanski. I don't like his supercilious manner. I don't like I don't know why he's like that. I mean, he seems to know everything about everyone. He feels he knows more than everyone. And he does. The problem is, it's really annoying. He's one of those people who does know a lot more than most people. But fucking hell, don't wear it on your sleeve like that. He's so annoying. And I don't like Alistair Campbell for his involvement in the Iraq war. But I prefer, if I had to go for a drink with either of them, and Alistair doesn't drink, I'd go for one with Alistair, because Rory Stewart just fucking annoys me. So the idea that he's an intergalactic lefty bedwetter. Anyway, but Boris Johnson says they're so deranged by hatred of Trump, you know, leaning into the Trump derangement syndrome. The only person who's got Trump derangement syndrome is fucking Donald Trump. He's the biggest carrier of this virus. But then he says from Venezuela to Iran, he's on the side of the good guys. Can I ask, does anyone here think, and please say, you won't be blocked if you say it nicely, just don't call us arses and don't call people bastards or jerks or whatever. Does anyone really think Donald Trump is doing anything for good, that he's acting like a goodie in a movie? Does anyone really think he's, because even I don't even think he thinks he is. He says it, but I don't even think Donald Trump thinks it's like when he did Venezuela, it's like it's all about the oil. I'm not a good man, I'm just an oil man. I mean, how can you say he's a goodie? I mean, anyway, I just thought, in case you wondered what Boris Johnson was, he's writing pieces about intergalactic lefties. Oh, what does he call them? I don't know why. I do find that funny. Intergalactic lefty bedwetter. I mean, yeah, good choice of words from an absolute wanker. But there we go. Okay, moving on to more serious matters. Well, I mean, that's serious enough. Let's talk about Iran, because the Iran situation really, really is beginning to fuck me off. Not the Iran situation, obviously. I mean, my heart goes out to anyone in Iran who is in these protests, in these riots. You know, what you've got to understand, a lot of these protests that have spilt into riots were born of, and it's important to remember this, and this is how regime change happens, were born of, or have been born of, the economic direness of the situation in Iran. And the principal driver of that economic downturn and the increase in prices and inflationary issues is, of course, the sanctions that have been enacted against Iran by the West on behalf of Israel. So it's very hard to get, for me personally, politically, to get on board with the idea that regime change in Iran, not that it's not necessarily, I don't have any experience, I can't walk in a Iranian's shoes, whether they be a supporter of the regime, the republic, or whether they are a supporter of the Shah, the monarch. I mean, I said to Nadia last night, I said, it's curious, isn't it, that we have, you know, call me old-fashioned, but more often than not, the concept of a monarch, not like ours, that's a kind of, you know, a sort of, what is, as is a sort of, not mythical, what are they? As is sort of, it's notional. It's a kind of figurehead, isn't it? It's a kind of bit of tourist decoration on the UK. He's not effectively leading the country. I've always thought the idea of an actual monarch, call me stupid and old-fashioned, it isn't necessarily very good. It's not democratic. It's kind of who said you are. It's some kind of strange, wealthy inheritance. It's feudal, isn't it? It's feudal. So anyway, the argument in Iran is we need the Shah back. We need the king. We need the monarchy. We need the monarchy. This is who Israel want back. This is who America wants back. And I'd call me again. I can't. None of this stuff is really complicated. As soon as I think, Trump wants this person, Netanyahu wants this person, and these people want to get in, I think there's got to be something wrong with them. Does anyone else feel that? I just sort of think something's not stacking up here. That's not to say the Islamic Republic of Iran doesn't have huge, egregious human rights issues, but fuck me. Right now, if you look at almost any footage on any independent media outlet about America, it looks pretty much the same there too. Morning, Stacey Randall. Good morning, Lady Randall. Good to see you. Bleh. Are you a lefty bedwetter? Bleh. Musical chimp. Iran is nowhere near as oppressive as we're led to believe. And the funny thing about that musical chimp is we have no way of proving that. But they can keep saying it, can't they? So here's some of the headlines. Iran activates missile cities, says the Telegraph, as Ayatollah faces gravest threat. Revolutionary Guard ordered to take control of streets. Let's just look at that headline. Okay, so let's just pause for a second, okay? Look at that headline, right? I'm not saying it's not accurate. Also, the other point to make is let's not forget Mike Pompeo, former Trump, first-term Trump presidential Secretary of State, very high up, very well connected, knows the deal. He will have knowledge and intimate kind of understandings of how these things work. He said in a tweet last week, a huge congratulations to all the Mossad agents in the riots. So we know, because a former Secretary of State from the American government has told us that Mossad, the Israeli intelligence agency, are on the ground in Iran fomenting unrest. We know that. But it seems that foreign interference by Israel is the one type of foreign interference every country in the world has to just go with. Yeah, that's right. We know Israel's manipulating everything. We know Israel's conducting false flags. We know Israel is suspiciously involved with assassinations. But it's Israel. So we know that Mossad are on the ground. So forgive me that when I see a headline like this, we will have no way of knowing, as Musical Chimp says, just how bad things are there for a fact, but they must be bad. The sanctions must be hitting, and there are protests. And films that we've reviewed and looked at that show dissidents, people who've tried to be politically, political opponents of the regime. They get punished. They get, no one is for a minute an apologist here for the Iranian regime, but Mossad are on the ground. The Israeli intelligence are on the ground fomenting unrest. And then you get headlines like this. So you can't trust all of this. But let's just replace some of the key words. Iran activates missile cities. America activates federal militia as Trump faces gravest threat. ICE agents ordered to take control of streets amid fears of immigrants staying in the country, working and paying taxes. It's not hard to replace, is it? And then you could plop underneath that title countless images of violence, such as this. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned. Call me old-fashioned. But I'd say it looks a little bit more violent and unresty in America than it does in Iran. Do you know what I mean? Do you get me? Do you understand? It's not to say that what's happening in Iran isn't happening, but it really sticks in the craw. That the papers, all of the UK's papers, the Western media, they're talking, of course, as we're about to, about Renee Good, the tragic shooting of her, and the huge kind of oscillating debate. Well, it's not that much, not that oscillating, unless you're a complete fucking moron and a Trumpite, about should she have been shot? You know, was there any justification for her murder, et cetera, et cetera? Anyway, you know, that's the debate that the British media are focusing on that, but they're not focusing on the fact that across America, there are demonstrations, protests, riots, violence happening, that if you chose to plot the images of that under a headline, not massively altered to this one, upgraded from this one, you could say the same thing of America. So just be careful, because the press needs this to ignite more and more. Netanyahu in Israel is sat there just like this, just waiting. This is all part of their plan. So when you get on board with the kind of, yeah, let's get rid of the fucking Republic of Iran, yeah, let's get the Shah, let's get an undemocratic king in. Let's get an undemocratic monarchy in. Oh, why do we need the monarchy in Iran? Oh, they're friends with America and friends with Israel. Ah, makes total sense. That's regime change then. Yeah. Oh, so this isn't about the Iranian people, what's best for them. Oh, it's oil. Oh, of course, because Venezuela and Iran are what? Two of the top 3 producers of oil. Oh, I didn't realize that. Did you know that? In the league table, there's Venezuela, there's Saudi Arabia, and then there's Iran. Oh, how weird. Venezuela has been hobbled, a la misery, Kathy Bates. And Iran, agitated from within. They've tried the bombs. Now let's get the Mossadis in there, and they're kind of, see what's happening, just feel it, just know it. This is what it's gonna happen, but this is what's happening. And now, of course, this is the biggest irony of all. Donald Trump's now saying to the Iranian government, you quell any of your protests, and no one should be shot, no one should be killed, no one should be. This is a president who's got federal agents shooting women doing 3-point turns. A president whose own federal agents or militia, the ICE militia, as I call them, are shooting people as they do 3-point turns in cars to get out of the way. He's telling Iran not to shoot protesters. Does it get any more? Does the dissonance, moral, practical, legal dissonance get any louder? Passive aggressive. I've declined a family wedding invitation in America. No way I'm going. Good on you, mate. This ain't floating. There may, there will always be, and going back to, I know, Mitri, you're a big fan of kind of walking us through this is why it's happening. Well, I kind of know why it's all happening, but it doesn't make it right. And in a moment, actually, Mitri, I'd be fascinated to know what you make of this. Donald Trump gives a very compelling and detailed argument about why he's going to take over Greenland. And if you, for a minute, when we get to that, just put all your kind of anti-Trump feelings and put everything to the side and just listen to him, you can kind of hear, not sense, but you can hear how he's convinced by what he's thinking. So, of course, everyone making these decisions, all of them feel right. And they've got many people behind them who feel right. And this is, And I think in many regards, I would argue that what they're doing, as I can't remember, someone over the week said, they've removed the kind of pretense. Donald Trump's removed all pretense that global politics is about anything other than a demonstration of power, a demand for resources. And this is a consolidation of superpowers versus, this is about a consolidation of three superpowers, of which, of the three, I would argue, America at the moment is the most, is behaving in the most overtly aggressive, dictatorial, colonial, imperialist manner. So yeah, so so just bear that in mind when you're looking at all the headlines of Iran. A, it's been activated and fermented from within. B, there are genuine concerns for the citizens of Iran. C, the Iranian regime, yes, is incredibly repressive. So too is the Israeli. I mean, the Israeli regime has committed a genocide. That usually counts against a nation in a much bigger way than even necessarily a nation being oppressive. Often, I mean, Germany was put under the kibosh after World War I and really put under the kibosh after World War II because what they did was bad, really bad, so bad. We must never forget how bad, lest we forget. I've forgotten everything. I haven't forgotten what that's about. What is it about? Oh, the Holocaust. Yeah, lest we forget. Well, Israel, the regime of Israel, has committed a live-streamed genocide. And isn't it amazing how everyone in the world is like, Benjamin Netanyahu has just sat there. We've got a clip of him in a minute. It's just sat there, kind of literally looking like that. Every day that goes by, we get one day further away from, even though they're still bombing in Gaza. But let's focus on Iran. Let's focus on Iran, even though if this was a sporting event, if this was the sport, if this was the Olympiad sport of the legitimacy of good riots, strong riots, Israel are already cheating. They're already cheating because they got Mossad agents on the ground in Iran. These aren't proper, this wouldn't qualify for the international rioting games. Whereas they would in America, because who's fomenting it? Donald Trump's causing it. Oh, it's all so ridiculous. Just to scare us a little bit more, because I think this is probably connected with Iran. Here's another headline from the Times. Iran's supreme leader looking to flee. Trump says as protests spread. Well, of course, Trump wants everyone to think he's going to flee. He wants the Iranian people to think he's going to flee. So the reason you're getting all these headlines is so that some people in Iran see those headlines, go, oh yeah, it's all happening. Okay. But this is a story that kind of, a number of I think this is the New York Post, a number of the papers, right-wing papers are kind of publishing this. Doomsday plane spotted at LAX, Los Angeles airport, sparking panic online. The Doomsday plane is basically a Pentagon in the air. In the event of a nuclear attack, global conflict, it's this thing, which looks very like a normal Boeing, doesn't it? This can be airborne for days. It's the flying Pentagon. But it's ignited, as it says here in the New York Post, a flurry of social media speculation because it was seen flying and landing at LAX airport. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth was on it. I think probably, knowing Pete Hegseth, he probably used it as an Uber. It's the kind of thing he'd do. Let's use the I'm going to use the Doomsday plane. They've taken 10 Viagra. And I need to use the Doomsday plane. I've got to get to LA fast. My God, what can we do? Oh, I can't get an Uber. Yes, fly. Let's use the Doomsday plane. Apparently he was on it with Laura Loomer. Hegseth is currently traveling on his Arsenal of Freedom. I put the arse into Arsenal. Oh, fucking idiot. Which aims to spotlight the US defense industrial base and boost military recruiting. This man speaks so intensely. His veins bulge so miraculously when he's giving his Viagra-laden speeches. He has to hold on to things. That's how this guy is the Hulk, isn't he? Social media users flocked to X to discuss its sighting. Oh, it's leaving LA. This is essentially a nuclear-proof, undetectable airborne command unit. This is a plane that flies during possible nuclear conflicts. And so, of course, everyone is connecting this with the potential machinations of Iran. It's probably taxiing Kash Patel and his girlfriend, says Rachel Thomas. Under the Shah, thank you, Mark Holderness. the unelected king of Iran. It was an oppressive, authoritarian regime. Political opposition was oppressed, and the monarchy and security services ran the country. But it was pro-US, so no one get this. Don't fucking think from Donald Trump doesn't give a monkey's jollop about the people of Venezuela, the people of Greenland, or the people of Iran. He wants all three on bended knee to him. That's all this is about. It's a different argument about what the best kind of government, how the Iranian Republic, how the Islamic Republic should conduct itself. That's a different argument. But to pretend with Mossad, Israeli intelligence agencies on the ground fomenting unrest, to pretend this is about liberating the Iranian people, it's absolute bullshit. It's about liberating Netanyahu, the dirty little fucker. So let's just clear up some of these. Let me just share with you what Trump had to say on Iran, and then we'll move on to Renee Good and the Minnesota shooting.
Iran's in big trouble. It looks to me that the people are taking over certain cities that nobody thought were really possible just a few weeks ago. We're watching the situation very carefully. I've made the statement very strongly that if they
just by the way, when he says we're watching the situation very closely, Netanyahu's Mossad agents are watching it very closely because they're in there.
Like they have in the past, we will get involved. We'll be hitting them very hard where it hurts. And that doesn't mean boots on the ground, but it means hitting them very, very hard where it hurts. So we don't want that to happen. There have been cases like this where President Obama totally backed down. But this is something pretty incredible that's happening in Iran. It's an amazing thing to watch. They've done a bad job. They've treated their people very badly, and now they're being paid back. So let's see what happens. We're watching it. We're watching it very closely. And I tell the Iranian leaders, you better not start shooting because we'll start shooting too.
Oh, thanks for reminding us. Thanks for reminding us of that, Donald. Because of course, your federal ICE agents, militia, they start shooting, don't they? Which seems like an incredibly apt point at which to move over to the longer footage. So I'm now going to play you. So trigger warning. You don't see the actual impact of bullets, but you do hear the discharging of the 3 bullets by the ICE agent. This is the long clip taken from Jonathan Ross, not our TV presenter, but the ICE agent responsible for shooting Renee Good. So just a pre-warning. It is unedited, it's uncut. This was released yesterday, and as I said earlier, can only have been released theoretically through the sanctioning of the authorities. This is an investigation now only being looked after by the FBI. We know that that's corrupt. We know that they're corrupt. We know that they are merely there to mop up anything that has any ambivalence around it, like the Charlie Kirk shooting, in order to make it play straight for Trump and his regime. So this is the footage, and we're going to show it now. I'm sure you've seen it elsewhere, but it's good to just show it in this live so that we can then back reference it. Remember, this is the ICE agent's camera now. That's Renee Good in the car.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen, former. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Oh!
So that moment where the camera goes up is being used and harnessed by the likes of J.D. Vance and everyone to say that was the moment of impact. It wasn't. The reason the camera went up was he was holding both. Does anyone else know how hard it is to hold a camera, film? Presumably, I've never used a gun, and then pull up a gun, and then shoot. So, Oxidus Magicus, as best as we can presume, is footage that virtually every legacy media outlet is using. Insofar as, you know, the part of it that I think means that it hasn't been uncut and digitally enhanced or altered or played with is that the moment of impact is the moment of him holding a phone and not being hit by a car, but then discharging a gun. The reason I think we can trust this Octodus is everything about this clip proves that she once again was avoiding him. So I'm just going to kill the audio just for a second and add it back to the state. So at this point here, this is the point as he comes round. I'm just going to pause it as we come around. So there, she's talking. Her hand goes on the wheel. You see her hand was pulled down really fast there. Did you see that? That means she's literally, that's proof that as her hand pulls down, she's steering the car away from him. And as she steers the car away from him, just watch. There's a moment where he makes a sound. She probably goes, oh, I don't want to hit him. Pumps the brake for a moment in order to avoid him because he's actively, remember, he has actively walked in front of a car, having asked her, they've all asked them to move earlier, you know, prior to the filming of this footage. They've all been saying to them, get the car out of the way. She said, I'm not angry with you. She said she's previously just waved on a couple of other cars. So he stepped in the way and she pumps the brakes just for a moment. So I just want you to look out for that bit where she pumps the brake just very quickly. So look, watch here. Boom, there. That pause isn't her hitting him. That pause isn't her hitting him. That pause is her being aware that he's in the way. And the reason the camera goes like that is that that's him discharging his gun. So the reason I feel I can trust is the sound and noise of the hand on the Octodus. We could get into this forever. Let's just assume it's real. The muffle of the third gunshot. If he's shot once, he doesn't need to shoot. He should have just shot once in the first place. If he was going to shoot at all, he should have shot once. And the muffling of the third gunshot. Let me just play that once more with audio.
You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Oh!
Yeah. Yeah, you hear that. What's wrong with you, officers? You can hear the first gunshot. There's the handling of the phone at the same time. You hear the three gunshots. And of course, you know, these men are so kind of they're so threatened in their masculinity. What you've got here is a man unable to cope with a lesbian being in any way kind of mouthy with him. A mouthy lesbian isn't justification to shoot someone. Just isn't. And I grew up, my mum's gay. I've met many mouthy lesbians. It's not a justification to shoot someone, but to an ICE agent, a militiaman, red rag to a bull, and he says fucking bitch as she drives away. So I'm just going to show you now. Much was made of the idea that apparently he was hurt. Apparently he was hit. Apparently he needed to be attended to. This is footage of him straight after the shooting.
Shame! You! Shame! 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 Shame!
That was the man that they claimed was run over and rushed to hospital. Should we have a look at him? Does this look like a man who was in any way injured or run over or possibly?
Shame! 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 Shame!
And it's really worrying because it struck me yesterday that the idea of a militia, Donald Trump could never have asked the Proud Boys, the far-right group of kind of violent, you know, white supremacist lunatics in America. He could never have formally said, come on, Proud Boys, though he did, didn't he, in one of his speeches at some point? This is a militia. What he's managed to do, which is really unsettling, is contort a department that existed. ICE always existed, but he's flooded it now with people doing this stuff. J.D. Vance has said they're going to go door to door. This is. I mean, for any of you Americans who just are like looking at this behavior of ICE and Trump with pride and with your Confederate flag up, and you're like, wow, man, the rest of the world just doesn't understand what we've just got it. We're so on it, you know. And if all you've got to hide behind is a gun, then boy, oh boy, you are so moronic. It's so petrifyingly moronic. But this is a militia. He's armed, he's legitimized, and he has given total kind of protection, legal protection to a militia. And that's what America has allowed to happen. I can't even believe this. They don't need to worry, you're right, Mitchell. They don't need to worry about accountability, prosecutions. They have total legal immunity. Renee Nicole Good said, I'm not mad at you before ICE agent shot her. Video shows. Rennie Macklin Good's wife says she nurtured kindness. Her wife gave this statement to, I think it was a Minnesota local newspaper. She said she literally sparkled. I mean, she didn't wear glitter, but I swear she had sparkles coming out of her pores all the time. Behind the light was a well of deep values that Macklin Good lived by, including a conviction that every person, regardless of where you come from or what you look like, deserves compassion and kindness. Rennie Good was a Christian who knew that all religions teach the same essential truth. We are here to love each other, care for each other, and keep each other safe and whole. That's what her wife wrote. About a woman that the New York Post wants to call a warrior of the militant left. Yeah, thank you very much, Coral Roberts. January the 6th, 2021, terrorists released from prison are his ICE agents. Pink Lady, these ICE agents are no different, but they are larger in number and they are more intrusive and invasive in mission, right? The police don't just come knocking on your door for no reason, but this lot do. And just some photographs here. These are images of protests in Minnesota. A man holding a sign saying "ICE Stapo," as in Gestapo, tactics must end. A woman dressed as a character from The Handmaid's Tale, inferring and suggesting the kind of the archaic medieval politics in America at the moment. These images, all these images look like something. Don't these images look like set shot? You know what this image looks like? All these images look like something from the set of Joker. You know, when there's the civil unrest in Joker, it's like it's happening. And the insanely laughing Joker character is Donald Trump. Beyond shocking, beyond shocking. I just want to divert. So, okay, hang on. Let's just have a look. Oh, have I just gone and deleted that? That's annoying. Okay, this is Trump on Minnesota, and then some other comments from Trump.
Follow-up for you. The state officials there have said that the FBI is not sharing evidence with them. Typically, they would conduct a joint investigation, as you know. Do you believe that the FBI should be sharing evidence with state officials in Minnesota?
Well, normally I would, but they're crooked officials. I mean, Minneapolis and Minnesota, what a beautiful place, but it's being destroyed. It's got an incompetent governor, fool. I mean, he's a stupid person. And it looks like the number could be $19 billion stolen from a lot of people, but largely people from Somalia. They buy their vote. They vote in a group. They buy their vote. They sell more Mercedes-Benzes in that area than almost. Can you imagine? You come over with no money, and then shortly thereafter you're driving a Mercedes-Benz. The whole thing is ridiculous. So they're very corrupt people. It's a very corrupt state. I feel that I won Minnesota. I think I won it all 3 times. Nobody's won it since Richard Nixon won it many.
Let's not forget, he's been asked about the shooting of a Minnesotan civilian, and he's talking about how he won the election. I mean,
I won it all 3 times, in my opinion, and it's a corrupt state, a corrupt voting state, and the Republicans ought to get smart and demand on voter ID. They ought to demand maybe same-day voting and all of the other things that you have to have a safe election. But I won Minnesota 3 times, and I didn't get credit for it. I did so well in that state every time. The people were crying every time after. That's a crooked state. California is a crooked state. Many crooked states. We have a very, very dishonest voting system.
So I guess what he's trying to say there is, because it's a crooked state, it's absolutely fine that Renee Good was shot and that no due process should be allowed, and that the FBI and the government should essentially sweep in and remove all the evidence and control the crime scene. It's quite remarkable, isn't it? I mean, you know, and I can see people are saying, where are the Democrats? There are a lot of voices. There's a lot of mayors. The Chicago mayor's been incredibly outspoken. The mayor of Minnesota was fantastic. What's his name? James Frey or Jacob Frey. I've seen chiefs of police in Minneapolis. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people saying stuff, but it still feels like there's a silence. There's a big gap. There's no audio coming from anyone else. It just everything just and I promise you that Trump is just forever and a day, and his regime are encroaching further and further and just seeing how much further they can go without resistance, Yes, you're absolutely right. Zoran Mamdani did have strong words to say. But my worry, even with Zoran Mamdani, because he's the mayor of New York, and you've got to understand this, guys, because the American press has been so spectacularly compromised and essentially taken over by Trump and managed by Trump. I mean, when I saw the New York Times puff piece, hagiographic kind of, you know, blowing smoke up the arse of Trump, I thought, fucking hell, has he threatened you with something for you to give him this profile? There's no way Trump's going to give an interview to the crooked, failed New York Times unless the New York Times has gone on bended knee and given him one. You know, this is where we're at. You know, American mainstream legacy media in America is totally defunct. And so I can only assume and presume that the reason we're not hearing more from the Democrats is they don't have anywhere to go. And because they haven't harnessed the importance of independent media, that's the only place you kind of get tidbits and clips that go a bit viral, that get shared, that we show, etc. It's really hard to be heard. I mean, so I'm not defending them. But I mean, I do, you know, CBS, for example, where he's installed Barry Weiss. You know, CBS has been hobbled and compromised, Zionized and made sure it's basically supportive of the government in America. Get this, we only found this out yesterday. CBS is the broadcasting partner for the BBC here in the UK. So the BBC will get feeds and will take from what? CBS that's now untrustworthy. The legacy mainstream media in America is entirely untrustworthy. And I think the Democrats need to get a handle on the fact that they need to voice and get their voice out there in their opposition through routes other than the mainstream media. It's the only way. It's the only feasible way. Just want to play this clip from Stephen Colbert.
Administration is clear. Only they determine the truth. And when their forces come to your city, obey or die. And if you die, you clearly didn't obey. This should be an alarm bell for the entire country, whether you live in a red state or a blue state, because...
Ironically, CBS.
Because if we let this go on, regardless of who your state voted for, one day you'll have unaccountable armed government agents acting with impunity in your town. So peacefully and non-violently, please let your leaders know you don't want that.
Really good point here from MeToo. Look, Project 2025, which is what we're seeing enacted here. Project 2025 was Trump and his regime's kind of mission statement for America. Is much more organized than people give it credit for. They didn't sit on their asses during Biden's term. They used the time to load the bases in local and federal government. I mean, Nadia keeps asking me, could there be any kind of pushback or resistance from the military? And on that same basis, MeToo, I think I'm right. I'm thinking they've kind of ushered out all possibilities of kind of opposition and resistance, even in the higher echelons of the military, haven't they? I mean, anyway, just to sort of suggest that. So we've got Donald Trump telling Iran not to shoot protesters whilst his militia shoots protesters. We've got, and we've also got this, Donald Trump selling oil in Venezuela to oil executives around his table, but he's so distracted by other things. Well, watch this.
All right, thank you. You'll make it back one way or the other. You're all going to do very well. I think really very well. Marco just gave me a note. Go back to Chevron. They want to discuss something. Go ahead. I'm going back to Chevron, Marco. Thank you, Marco.
Was there a question, Mr. President?
Yes, go ahead, Marco. What are you saying here?
Mark, if you can...
So basically, Marco Rubio gave him a prompt to go back to Chevron. He read out the prompt, thought it was an instruction, handed it. Okay. I don't think, no, Jocelyn Wilson, good question. Do you think Trump is concerned about the impact of US tourism? No, not at all. I don't think he is at all. And from what MeTube was saying, I think it's only gone down by 3%. You know, and also the interesting thing that he's done with American tourism and people traveling in and out of America by threatening no entry due to looking at all your social media. it's quite a clever way of trying to not ensure, but even if it's just a scintilla of people around the world just lessen their criticism of America in order to have the freedom to travel in and out. It's another way of removing opposition. It's another way of quelling opposition, isn't it? It's incredibly strategic. It's incredibly strategic. But this is the moment where I think, which kind of demonstrates how concerned we should be about Trump. Watch this moment of total, this isn't, I don't know if this is the weave or a distraction, but check this. In the middle of entertaining oil executives, discussing how he's going to make them all wealthier than ever due to his annexation of Venezuela. Check this out.
In fact, if you look, come to think of it, well, I got to look at this myself. Wow. What a view. This is the door to the ballroom. Well, what did you have? Unusual time to look, but I figure we might as well do it. If the fake news would like to go back and take a look, you can, but you'll see a very big foundation that's moving. We're ahead of schedule in the ballroom and under budget. It's going to be, I don't think there'll be anything like it in the world, actually. I think it'll be the best. We went from, this is, as you know, our biggest room, which would seat 100 for dinner, maybe.
I mean, guys, America, please, fucking hell. Why can't there be some kind of extraterrestrial interception? I'm sorry, America. You might all have to be collateral damage. Someone has to fucking swoop in there and get this guy. This is ridiculous. Just take him to hospital. Take him to a drive-through McDonald's, get him a Happy Meal, let him play with the toy, and then just, for fuck's sake, lock him up, put him somewhere. He literally gets up and looks out the back door, and he has nothing to say because there's nothing out there. Okay, quick question just for conspiracy theorists. Who thinks the ballroom isn't a ballroom, but is actually a bunker because he knows that in about however long, there's going to be not only maybe war, but insurrection, revolution, civil war, what have you? Just insane. Just insane. And we're going to kind of wrap up very soon. But obviously the other headlines, Trump ramps up Greenland threats and says US will intervene whether they like it or not. This is the idea that perhaps he will offer money to the Greenland citizens. He says somewhere, I'm friends with the Danes. I like the Danes. But yeah, could it be a bigger bunker, Oxidus? You're a bit acerbic today, Oxidus. You're usually quite a nice kind of presence. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like he's going to take Greenland. He's telling us that there are Chinese and Russian ships all around it. I'm sure there probably are. But there's an American submarine near Russia. I mean, isn't this the order of the day? It's just they will take Greenland for a fact. They'll take Greenland, and when they, but I guess if he buys it off the Greenlandish people, if he gives them lots of money, and there's no military issue, I'm sure NATO right now. Mark Rutte, is it Mark Rutte? Yeah, you're the daddy. You're the big daddy man, daddy. Oh yeah, orange daddy. Yeah, the head of NATO, that bellicose streak of piss. He's kind of like, oh, yeah, well, let's hope that Donald Trump buys it. Let's hope he makes all the Greenlanders really rich, and then we don't have to disband NATO. Yeah. We don't have to get rid of NATO. Yeah. And Denmark might be thinking, oh, just take it off us. Denmark subsidizes Greenland already, so it could be a bidding war. There must be something suspicious about it because it serves food that is not McDonald's, says Oxidus. That's more like the Oxidus I know. Acerbic, but witty. I like that. He's going to offer $20,000. I thought it was $100,000 per person. Still, what a snip, hey? What a snip for Greenland. It will be, it's going to be a bigly bunker. One of the big, nobody does bunkers like me. Nobody does ballrooms. I love a big ballroom so I can do the jacking off the giraffe dance. Anyway, guys, that's your lot. Something will be landing later. Curly Cooks isn't happening at 11. We've got stuff happening, but there will be a live cook from NADS much later today. So you will get your culinary delivery at some point, but later today. In the meantime, I was going to show a clip with Netanyahu, I will save that. But it was a clip with Benjamin Netanyahu talking about why he's not letting journalists into Gaza, him pretending that he's concerned and cares for journalists. And I think it was the Economic Times, the journalist in question who's interviewing him says, I don't want to go in with the IDF, I want to go in myself. And he looks in the most, I will play it at some point, maybe on Monday. I'm going to hold it back because he's so spectacularly sinister, more than you've ever seen him before, because actually a woman journalist is saying, fuck off, you bullshitter, fuck off. So on that note, I will fuck off. So thanks again for all your comments, and we will see you later today.